Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Your Stocks, coming live from the CNBC-TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Vinny Motiwala. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Markets, as of now, managing to hold on to the 24,300 level. Nifty, 1.24% uptick is what we are seeing coming in for the Nifty 50, almost in the day's highest point. 296 points up. At one point of time, it was more than 300 points up. But yes, managing to hold on to 24,300, so not bad. Mid and small cap managing to perform in tandem with the benchmark indices as well. Both of them are holding on to gains of more than 1%, 1.5% for mid cap. Small cap also managing to hold on to similar level of gains there as well. 1% gain as of now is what we're seeing for the small cap. Sector wise, we're seeing banks that are doing well. So Nifty PSU banks as well as Nifty Bank also is managing to trade around that day's highest point so far. Pharma, that's the other one that's managing to hold on to gains. And other than that, we have IT on the flip side, which is not managing to hold on to gains. That's the only sector that's trading in the red. But this is a show where we solve all your stock-related queries, and to solve all those doubts today, we have our experts joining in with us. Ashish Kyal, CMT and author and founder at We Have Strategy Advisors, as well as Gaurang, Shah, Senior Vice President at Geojit Financial Services, to solve all those queries. Good afternoon, gentlemen, and thank you so much, as always, for joining in with us on the show. A good Monday shaping up so far, so let's just get started with the queries then. The first query for today is coming in from Sanjay Kumar, who's writing to us from Navi Mumbai. He's holding 10 shares of Axis Bank. This is at a price of 949 rupees per share. Wants to know the long-term strategy and prospect of this stock from here on. Gaurang, your view coming in for Axis Bank. We've seen, these private banks like Axis Bank, HDFC Bank managed to see a steady good performance in terms of the Q4, right? So outlook going forward for private banks and specifically Axis Bank.
Thank you, Vinny, for having me on this show. Good afternoon to you and to everyone, including my good friend Ashish. Surprisingly, for change and for good, Vinny, Axis Bank delivered better numbers than what it used to deliver. In fact, earlier, after they took over the Citibank business, there was a little bit of concern, but now the improvement looks on a steady wicket. As a disclosure, we do have a hold recommendation on Axis Bank from a long-term point of view. My only request to this viewer stroke investor is that don't be content with having just 10 shares. If you do have investable amount, my request would be to, gradually on dips, go on adding it and increase the quantity. Our view at Geojit Investments Limited, Vinny, is that banking and finance is going to perform quite well going into the future.
Okay, banking and finance will do well going in the future, and obviously just don't limit yourself to 10 shares is what Gaurang is highlighting. Ashish, good afternoon, and your view coming in on Axis Bank.
Completely agree with the view coming here. The overall trend for Axis Bank is definitely positive. Even last time we talked about from the banking space, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, both looks to be good. We saw a very sharp rise in Axis Bank from the levels of around 1,067 and now trading around 1,190. The overall tone has turned on the upside. Overall financial sector as a whole looks to be positive. And I think the stock can move towards the level of 1,400 and even much higher from there. So this is an opportunity to enter or buy more of the stock for 1,400 as the target over near term. And on the downside, the support for the stock is going to be around 1120 levels.
Okay, keep an eye out on those levels over there for Axis Bank. Move on to the next query for today. The viewer has a query on two stocks. He's writing to us from Telangana, Anand Pai. 5 shares of Voltas is what they're holding at an average price of 1,435 rupees. So they're making a loss on Voltas right now. And the other one is L&T Technology Services. This is at an average price of 5,685 rupees per share is what the investment price is. So in that one also, they're making a loss as of now is what I can see. Wants to know whether you should continue to hold this or look to sell. Your view, Gaurang, coming in on the fundamentals for both L&T Technology Services as well as in terms of Voltas. L&T Tech, IT space, would you look at any other name, or L&T Tech makes sense, and suggestions coming in there?
Vinny, I would stay put, honestly, because we've been positive on L&T Technologies for a pretty long time now. As far as the numbers are concerned for some of the mid-stroke large-cap IT companies, it has been a mixed bag. Whatever we've seen until now, there are some few remain in terms of delivery of Q4 numbers. overhang of US tariff effect in terms of slowdown of American economy, budgetary cuts, discretionary spends, run rate in terms of ticket size of bills that Indian IT companies used to get may come down. But these are all hypothetical questions. We'll have to wait and watch how the entire tariff related issue has an impact on the US economy, or whether there is a stagnation, or whether there is a slowdown, etc., etc. As of now, we have a hold recommendation. You got in at higher levels if you have investable amount. Current levels of somewhere close to about 4,160 or 170. A decent level to add in case if you got in at higher level. As far as Voltas is concerned, I think this is you know, a sector, consumer durable, discretionary spend, Vinny, if you will. Names like Voltas, Blue Star, Symphony that we have coverage. It's an excellent play in terms of not only the metros, tier 1, tier 2 cities, but also from the aspirations that are going up from semi-urban and rural India in terms of getting these modernized gadgets into their home. And there is a huge demand that is going to explode as we go into the future, with income levels going up because of the focus of the government on the agrarian economy. So we are extremely positive. Only thing is, yes, again, you got in at higher levels. You have the quantity of share is pretty low. In both, I would advise hold and add.
Hold and add is your advice coming in for both of the names. Ashish, on the technicals, would your advice be similar to what Gaurang is saying? Hold and add and average is the best bet, given that they don't hold that many shares of both these stocks.
Yes, I completely agree, because see, we are right now, if you look at the overall outperformance, that has come from the financial space. And if you look at a normal economic cycle and the sector rotation that happens, it usually moves from the financial towards the consumer discretionary segment, may it be luxury, may it be capital goods. So that should start outperforming. So I'm optimistic that Voltas from that space should start showing sign of a green shoot from here on. And it is on the chart also, it is at a very important level, placed at a very important support at 1180. So as long as that support is intact, I'm optimistic the stock can again move back towards 1500 and above the cost price towards 1680 also. So the view for Voltas is positive. The support on the downside is going to be around 1180. And for L&T Tech Services, we can see the stock has slowly and steadily moved down from 5,500 towards the 4,200 levels. Below that, but it has been a systematic sell-off across the IT space. It's not only L&T Tech Services, but if you look at any other stock from the space, that has gone down. So I'm not worried about that sector as a whole should reverse up. And when that happens, this stock will outperform as well. So the suggestion would be to hold on to the stock here. The support on the downside is around 3848 levels. That should remain intact. On the upside, we should eventually see 5,000 levels in this stock.
Okay. Interesting to keep an eye out on those levels over there as well for L&T Tech as well as Voltas. Next query for today is coming from Raghav Rao, who's writing to us from Noida. He's holding 30 shares of Ircon International. This is at a price of 192 rupees per share. Currently, the stock is trading at 156, so they're making some bit of a loss on this one. Wants to know whether to continue to hold this or look to sell this one. Gaurang, your view coming in on Ircon International, just a couple of weeks back, it was running up in trade mainly because of some order wins coming. So every time we see that order win coming in, the stock runs up. But technically, overall, on a whole basis, when you look at it in the last 6 months, it's a bit on a downtrend, right? So what are we watching out for on the fundamental front as of now for Ircon?
Well, so we don't have a dedicated coverage on Ircon, but let me give you just our view as far as the entire Indian railway related theme is concerned. So you have stocks like Ircon, you have stocks like IRFC, RVNL, you have stocks like Railtel, IRFC, etc., and maybe Titagar Wagon and Jupiter Wagon, etc. There has been a huge change in terms of the modernization that the Ministry of Railways and the Government of India is right now working on. We've seen upgradation in terms of railway tracks. We've seen modernization of coaches. We've seen Vande Bharats run across pan-India. We are likely to see a bullet train between Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, and of course, so on and so forth, dedicated freight corridors, more modernized locomotives with higher capacities, etc., etc. These changes are not going to happen in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or maybe 1 year. changes will happen over a longer period of time. Effectively, what I'm trying to say, Vinay, is that these are strong plays with dedicated government policies in place. They will perform over a longish period of time. They will not perform in 3 months, 6 months. So if you eventually decide to invest in any of the railway related themes, please have at least 2.5+ kind of time horizon to get effective returns out of your investment.
Sure. Okay. Long-term story is good. Don't expect immediate returns because it will play out over a period of time, is what Gaurang is saying. But on the technical front, Ashish, like I was saying as well, right? We had seen at one point of time, July, somewhere it reached the 300 all-time high level, 350. And then after that, we've seen the decline coming in for the stock, right? So right now, yes, the viewer has not bought it at a very high price, 192. Right now, it's at 156. What should they do? Hold or book out the, some bit of the loss that they're making, or maybe average? What's the strategy?
If you look at, you rightly pointed out, the stock has moved from 350 and now to 156, and the buy price is around 192. So that's achievable. On the downside, the stock has managed to form double bottom at 135. It managed to go there nearly 2 or 3 times, bounce back from there. On the upside, the neckline for this pattern is placed at 171, 172. So I think if the stock manages to break the neckline above 172 levels, there can be a good breakout, and the pattern target on the upside should be somewhere around 210 odd levels. So my view is hold on to the stock here. There is a possibility it can give a breakout along with the broader market rallying. So overall outlook is bullish. As long as on the downside, the support or the stop loss can be maintained at 145, but the ideal stop is 135 if you can maintain that.
Okay, keep an eye out on those levels over there. Could see a run up, but maintain that stop loss that Ashish is saying as well. Let's move on to the next query. Shankar is writing to us from Bangalore. He's holding 25 shares of Adani Enterprises at a price of 2,000 rupees per share, making some profit on this. Wants to know whether to hold or sell this one. Adani Enterprises, Gaurang, any view on this one?
So again, this one is a difficult one really because you don't have a coverage, to be very honest. But my belief is that there are certain companies in the Adani group that are worth looking at in terms of performance. Okay, this is not a recommendation. So Adani Enterprise, Adani Ports, Adani Green, these are some of the names in terms of sound businesses which with the outlook of positivities in terms of future earnings. Sorry, I won't be able to give a specific in buy, sell, and hold on Adani Enterprise.
Okay, surely. But on the technicals, your view coming in, Ashish?
See, Adani Enterprise had a very important support of 2750, which was breached with a big gap down. And since then, it has been just moving in a broad range of 2,600 odd levels on the upside, and on the downside, 2,032. So unless the stock manages to break that range back about 2,550, 2,600, we are expecting it to consolidate. So I would suggest continue to hold on as of now. Wait for that breakout to happen, because if that breakout happens, we can expect the gap filling activity, and we can expect to see the price up back to around 2,800 and possibly higher. On the downside, the support for the stock is going to be around 2,207. So maintain 2,200, 2,207 as a stop loss and hold on to the stock for now.
Okay, hold on to the stock for now. That's the view coming in from Ashish. You had seen those flashes coming in for KPIT Tech also in terms of the EBITDA margin guidance as well as what they met in terms of the increased guidance. So that is why we're seeing KPIT Tech. They reported their numbers today. Earlier on in the day, so keep an eye on that. The stock is buzzing in trade as of now, almost near the day's highest point. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break, and as we slip into the break, here's some good news coming in for our viewers. India's business news leader is now a click away. Introducing CNBC TV18's all-new app. Get instant access to breaking news, in-depth articles, and financial world updates at your fingertips. Download the CNBC TV18 app now from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, or just scan the QR code on your screen. Welcome back to Business Lunch on CNBC TV18. Now we still have our experts with us, Ashish Kyal as well as Gaurang Shah, who for solving all your stock-related queries. Let's keep it going, gentlemen. Then the next query for today coming in from the defense side. We have Ketan Shah, who's writing to us from Ahmedabad. He's holding 15 shares of Hindustan Aeronautics at a price of 3,800 rupees per share. Wants to know whether it's advisable to buy more shares. He's not looking to sell at all. Just wants to whether he should look to add more. Your view coming in on the defense side and HAL specifically, Gaurang.
So we've been recommending this defense sector for a pretty long time now. Hindustan Aeronautics used to be under our coverage. Currently, we don't have a coverage, but we like the sector. Currently, the coverage that we have is on Cochin Shipyard, BHEL, BEML, to name a few. But all these names are a very strong play with respect to Make in India, Made in India, and the FDI and defense, which was opened up way back in 2016-17, if I'm not mistaken. Hindustan Aeronautics undoubtedly is one of the best suited company in terms of not only completing the requirement as what is needed by India, but also there is a huge opportunity in terms of export market. And the order book is very, very strong, Vinny. The only problem is, companies like Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, who make light combat aircraft, light combat helicopters. These are products which require dedication in terms of experience, time, technology, and precision. These products don't happen overnight or within 3-4 months. There is a long gestation period. Once you make a prototype, get an approval, then the mass scale production starts. And that too, it takes a lot of time to complete the order book. But it is one of the best plays in terms of defense.
In terms of defense, on the technicals, Ashish, what's your view coming in? Should the viewer add more also? And given that, since we'd seen a bit of a decline coming in somewhere in Feb, right, for the stock, then again it started coming up. So is it advisable to buy now? Maybe wait for some bit of a time before buying?
No, I would advise he can buy now, add more at the current levels, because the stock has formed an inverted head and shoulder pattern, giving a breakout as we speak. It's already up by more than 5% as of now, and the volumes have picked up pretty well. So the overall technical chart is suggesting a strong breakout in HAL at this point of time. And on the upside, we can expect the pattern target to be around 5,200, 5,300 levels, with the support at around 4,140. So the risk reward looks also very appealing for going long at the current levels.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on HAL over there and follow the advice for HAL. But, I just want to mark KPIT Tech. My ticker team, Sudarshan, he just, mentioned as well that KPIT has actually not given a guidance for FY26. So pull out the charts. It's seen a bit of a fall. When we were talking about before, the numbers were fine, but then look at the fall that's coming because they've not given a guidance for FY26 in terms of revenue and margins. So that is something important to watch out for in today's trading session. Look at the fall. Right now it's just managing to hold on to gains of 1%. So surely keep an eye out on KPIT Tech. Now it's 0.5% of gain. So it's seeing that decline coming in fast. Let's move on. And actually, the next query we have is coming in for the IT side, from the IT side itself. We have Pranali, who's writing to us from Mumbai. She's holding 32 shares of Wipro. This is at a price of 200 rupees per share. Wants to know whether she should stay invested in Wipro. Your view, Gaurang?
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint Pranali, but we have a sell/reduce recommendation on Wipro because of our targets are in place. And even if you look at the numbers, Vinny, and compare it with the large cap names, one side Wipro, other side you keep names like TCS, Infosys, HCL, Tech Mahindra. Historically speaking, we've seen underperformance. I would recommend a switch from here since we have a reduced recommendation on Wipro. And if you do decide to switch out from here, large cap names, if you want to again allocate your capital towards IT, then TCS, HCL Tech would be the preferred destinations.
Okay. Keep an eye out on TCS or HCL Tech. That's the view coming in from Gaurang. Your view, Ashish, what are you from Wipro in terms of should she have any hopes from Wipro or look at other IT names?
If you look at Wipro, the stock has been possibly forming a triangle pattern in a range of around 249 on the upside. And on the downside, the support for the stock is at 229. It's been nearly, I think, 10-12 trading sessions since it's moving in that broad range. And I think it's better to hold on as long as the range is intact. On the downside, the support for the stock is around 231. And if it manages to break 249, I'm expecting it to go towards the level of around 260, 265 odd levels on the upside. So suggestion would be hold as of now.
Suggestion would be hold for Wipro. Okay, let's move on and talk about the next stock that is in focus, and that is Hindalco. We have Kirti Sinha, who's writing to us from Patna. It's holding 10 shares of Hindalco. Price is 500 rupees per share, long-term investor. So wants to know whether they should continue to stay invested in Hindalco. What's the long-term story looking like, Gaurang?
The best part is the level at which the investment happened, Vinny. The bad part is the number of shares. Again, you cannot say enough is enough in stock market, but yeah, when you get into names, again, this is a pure metal play. Metal is subject to US news flows in terms of tariff, and of course, news flows comes out from China. But domestically, there has been a good environment in terms of consumption going up, both for steel, aluminium, copper, etc., etc. We have a positive coverage. 740 approximately is the target from a long-term point of view in Hindalco.
Okay. And on the technicals, Hindalco, how is that looking like for the long-term story? What are the levels that they should keep an eye out on, Ashish?
See, if you look at Hindalco, it's following a good cyclical move of around 55, 56 days, where the stock manages to reverse over short term from those time frames. And even recently, the low was formed around that cycle zone. So I'm optimistic for on Hindalco over the near term. From a bigger term perspective, I think the stock has the potential to move toward the previous high, which was around 740, 750 levels. As long as on the downside, the very important support comes to around 575. So as long as 575 is intact, we can expect it to go towards 740 on the upside.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on those levels. Let's move on to the next query for today. Pratik Sharma is writing to us from Mulund, holding 25 shares of BPCL at a price of 200 rupees per share. Wants to know whether he should hold or look to sell this one. BPCL right now, they're making some bit of a profit. Outlook on this, Gaurang?
Well, it has been, all the three oil marketing companies, honestly, Vinny, there have been a drag. Government has spoken at multiple occasions in terms of divestment, especially for BPCL. Post that, we saw a rally, and then, of course, nothing happened at ground level in terms of divestment. Crude oil prices were very high, have settled down to $65, $66 Brent, $63 to $62 NYMEX. Expectation is that crude oil prices are likely to settle lower. After adjustment of inventories, there is possibility that there should be more positive impact both on the refining margins and net profitability. Being a government company, a 20% dividend track record every year sounds good, but that's not the only reason. But yeah, provided you are in for a long term, you can continue to hold BPCL.
Okay, and a quick view, BPCL, your levels to keep an eye out on, Ashish?
See, right now on the upside, 325 is going to be the immediate hurdle from the levels perspective in near term. And on the downside, the support for the stock is around 288. So hold is the recommendation, 325, 326 is the target.
Okay, 325, 326 is the target, hold is the recommendation. But that was the last query for today, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining in with us, Ashish, Gaurang, both of you all. And thank you so much, viewers, for sending us your queries. And always remember to send us and email us your queries, and we'll address them with our experts. But with that, thank you so much for tuning in. And up next, you have Closing Bell.